Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever noticed how much of our time is spent trapped in an endless cycle of overthinking and unnecessary chatter? We analyze, we debate, we justify, and in the process, we paralyze ourselves. We convince ourselves that more thought, more words, more discussion will bring clarity, but often it does the opposite. It fragments our attention, weakens our resolve, and leaves us spinning in circles rather than moving forward. Now, imagine a different approach. Less thinking, less speaking, more focusing. Imagine channeling your energy into precise, deliberate action rather than drowning in hesitation and self-doubt. Because focus is what separates those who merely talk about success from those who actually achieve it. Tonight, I want to challenge you to step beyond the noise, both external and internal, and reclaim the power of directed attention. Because where your focus goes, your life follows. Overthinking is one of the most insidious traps of the mind. It masquerades as intelligence, as caution, as preparation, but in reality, it often leads to paralysis. The more you think, the more variables you consider, and the more you convince yourself that the conditions aren't quite right yet. You start imagining every possible failure, every potential obstacle, and before long, you've built a mental prison out of endless hypotheticals. Instead of acting, you remain stuck in your own mind, believing that if you just think a little longer, you'll finally achieve the certainty you crave. But certainty never comes from thought alone. It comes from action. The reason overthinking leads to inaction is that the mind thrives on patterns. When you hesitate once, it becomes easier to hesitate again. When you allow yourself to spiral into analysis, your brain starts to favor thinking over doing. Your body becomes accustomed to stillness, your decisions become weaker, and your confidence diminishes. Each time you delay action, you reinforce the idea that you are not ready, that you need more information, more clarity, more reassurance. The irony is that action itself is the cure. The moment you take a step forward, no matter how small, you break the cycle. Overthinking also distorts reality. The more you analyze, the more exaggerated your fears become. A simple challenge suddenly appears insurmountable because you've dissected it into 1,000 tiny details. Instead of seeing a clear path forward, you see a web of potential problems. You begin to question your abilities, your knowledge, your readiness. The weight of possibilities becomes overwhelming, and so you do nothing. But the reality is, most of those fears are illusions. They exist only in your mind, and they gain power only when you feed them with endless thought. Fear thrives in the absence of action. The longer you think without doing, the stronger your doubts become. Your mind will find reasons to delay, excuses disguised as logic. You'll tell yourself you need more time, more resources, more preparation. But if you look back at your life, you'll see that your greatest progress never came from perfect conditions. It came from moments where you simply decided to move forward, despite the uncertainty. The best lessons weren't learned through thinking, but through experience. Another danger of overthinking is that it drains your energy. The mind is not an infinite resource. It fatigues like a muscle. The more you spend your mental energy on unnecessary analysis, the less you have for action. You might feel productive when you're deep in thought, but if that thought never translates into movement, it's an illusion of progress. The people who succeed in life aren't necessarily the ones who think the most. They're the ones who act the most. Thought should be a tool. It should serve action, not replace it. The truth is, no amount of thinking will ever eliminate risk. No plan is perfect. No decision comes with a guarantee. But what thinking often does is create the illusion that if you just wait long enough, if you just analyze enough, you can reach a point of total safety. That's a lie. There will always be unknowns, always be challenges you didn't anticipate. The key is not to eliminate uncertainty, but to move forward despite it. Your mind will always offer you reasons to delay, but at some point, you have to recognize that those reasons are just mental noise. You have to train yourself to act even when you don't feel completely ready. Readiness is not a prerequisite for action. Action is what creates readiness. You don't gain confidence by thinking, you gain confidence by doing. The only way to truly know if something will work is to try. The only way to improve is through experience. When you look at the people who achieve great things, they are rarely the ones who sit around overanalyzing every possibility. They are the ones who move, who make decisions, who take risks. They understand that mistakes are part of the process, that failure is not the enemy, but hesitation is. They know that progress is built on momentum, and momentum only comes from action. The longer you stay in your head, the harder it becomes to break free. The habit of overthinking becomes deeply ingrained, and soon it becomes your default state. You start second-guessing even the simplest decisions, questioning your own instincts, doubting your own capabilities. And yet the only way to escape is to do the very thing your mind is resisting. Take action. Even when it feels uncomfortable, even when the doubts creep in, even when the fear whispers that you're not ready. Because the truth is, you will never feel fully ready. And that's exactly why you must begin. Silence is not simply the absence of noise. It is a powerful tool for sharpening focus in a world that thrives on constant stimulation, where we are bombarded with information, distractions, and demands on our time. Silence has become a rare commodity. We have been conditioned to believe that speaking more means achieving more, that louder voices equal greater influence, that the more we say, the more we are understood. But in truth, the opposite is often the case. Silence is not a void. It is a space for clarity, concentration, and true understanding. When you speak less, you conserve energy, not only for your body, but for your mind as well. Every word you utter demands attention. Whether you realize it or not, the brain processes each word, each sentence, and each interaction. If your focus is constantly diverted by conversations, discussions, and noise, you are scattering your attention. In turn, you lose the ability to concentrate deeply on what truly matters. By speaking less, you free your mind to focus more on the task at hand, to develop deeper insights, and to observe with a clearer lens. Silence becomes a form of mental discipline, a way to train your mind to resist distractions and remain steady amidst the chaos. When you speak less, you also listen more. And listening, truly listening, is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. The world is full of noise, but very few people are genuinely engaged in the art of listening. We often listen only to respond, waiting for our turn to speak, rather than fully absorbing what the other person is saying. This kind of surface-level listening not only wastes opportunities for true understanding, but it also hinders your own ability to process information meaningfully. The more you speak, the less you listen. And when you don't listen, you miss out on valuable perspectives, insights, and lessons. Silence allows for reflection. It creates a space where you can connect the dots, where you can align your thoughts with your values, where you can take a step back and see the bigger picture. Reflection is not something that can be done in a noisy, distracted mind. To truly reflect, to evaluate your decisions, to assess your progress, you must first silence the external chatter and quiet your own inner dialogue. The mind needs space to think clearly, to process experiences, and to understand the significance of your actions. Without silence, you're left with a cluttered mind, constantly racing from one thought to the next, never fully grasping the meaning of what's unfolding around you. In the same way, silence sharpens your focus by forcing you to confront what truly matters. When you speak less, you become more intentional with your words. Each word becomes more significant, more purposeful. You start to realize that your words are not just tools for communication. They are reflections of your thoughts, your values, and your beliefs. When you speak carelessly, you dilute your message. But when you speak with intention, your words carry weight and they resonate with those around you. The more you practice silence, the more deliberate you become in choosing your words, in expressing your ideas, in conveying your thoughts. Another benefit of speaking less is that it strengthens your self-discipline. Discipline is not just about what you do, it's about what you don't do. It's about recognizing the power of restraint and practicing the art of holding back. In a world where it's easy to share your opinion, to broadcast your thoughts, and to fill every silence with words, the ability to remain quiet is an invaluable skill. Resisting the urge to speak, especially in moments of stress, frustration, or excitement, takes real strength. It requires you to master your impulses, to prioritize thoughtfulness over immediate reaction, and to remain composed under pressure. By speaking less, you also invite deeper connections. People are drawn to those who listen and observe, who choose their words carefully, and who offer their thoughts only when they have something meaningful to contribute. The more you speak, the more you risk diluting your influence. But the more you choose silence, the more your words become precious. They carry weight because they are chosen with care. People begin to pay attention when you do speak, because they know you aren't someone who speaks for the sake of speaking. You've earned their respect through your ability to remain silent when necessary. Silence also creates space for creativity. The act of creating requires focus, and focus is impossible when you are constantly distracted by the noise of the world. Ideas come not from endless talking, but from moments of stillness. When you allow yourself to be silent, you open the door for new thoughts to emerge. You make room for inspiration, for insight, and for the kind of deep thinking that leads to innovation. Creativity thrives in quiet moments, when the mind is not overloaded with external input, and when you are free to explore the depths of your own consciousness. Foreign consciousness. The paradox of silence is that it is not emptiness. It is a full space, rich with potential. It is the foundation upon which focus, creativity, and clarity are built. By speaking less, you allow your mind to concentrate on what matters most, to reflect on your actions, and to connect deeply with others. Silence does not diminish you. It empowers you. It sharpens your mind, refines your focus, and elevates your impact. Relentless, not simply about concentrating on a single task. It is about the mastery of attention. In today's world, we are constantly pulled in multiple directions. With notifications, messages, and a constant stream of information, it feels as though our attention is always divided. Our minds are trained to flip from one thing to the next, seldom remaining fixed on a single point for any significant period. This fragmented attention not only diminishes the quality of our work, but it also weakens our ability to make progress in any meaningful way. Focus, however, is the key that unlocks the door to mastery. It is what separates those who make incremental improvements from those who make breakthroughs. The ability to concentrate deeply on one thing, to direct your energy and attention without distraction, is the hallmark of high achievers. When you focus, you move beyond the surface level of effort. You don't just perform a task, you engage with it fully, investing your complete attention, energy, and skill. In doing so, you begin to experience mastery, the kind of profound understanding and ability that comes from sustained and undistracted practice. Whether it's a skill you're developing, a project you're working on, or a goal you're pursuing, focusing your attention allows you to delve deeper and engage more fully. And the more focused you are, the more quickly you develop competence, and the more confidently you can apply that competence. When you give your full attention to something, you accelerate your growth and learning because you are no longer skimming the surface. You are immersing yourself in the experience. Focus is also what allows you to align your efforts with your values and priorities. When your attention is scattered across a dozen different things, it becomes difficult to discern what truly matters. You begin to prioritize the urgent over the important, reacting to whatever is right in front of you instead of pursuing long-term goals that require sustained effort and strategic planning. Focus forces you to choose, to decide where to direct your energy and time. It provides clarity, helping you distinguish between distractions and the things that truly deserve your attention. It helps you make the hard decisions about what to say yes to and what to say no to. By eliminating the noise and unnecessary demands on your time, focus allows you to invest yourself fully in the pursuits that will lead to real, lasting success. The key to mastering focus is the ability to block out distractions. This is where many people struggle. We live in a culture that is designed to capture our attention at all times. It takes effort to resist the pull of distractions. But the more you practice focus, the more natural it becomes. The brain, like any muscle, can be trained. The more consistently you direct your attention, the more efficient and effective your focus becomes. Initially, this might feel uncomfortable. Your mind will want to wander. Your attention will want to drift. But over time, with consistent practice, you'll find that it becomes easier to keep your mind fixed on what matters. You begin to experience the kind of deep concentration that allows for true creativity and innovation. Focus also creates momentum. Momentum is the fuel that drives you forward, and it comes from the consistency of focused action. When you concentrate on one thing over time, the results begin to compound. Progress that once felt slow becomes exponential, and the work you do begins to build on itself. Momentum isn't a fluke. It is the result of sustained, focused effort. It's the snowball effect, small, consistent actions that add up over time to create large-scale results. The more focused you are on the task at hand, the more momentum you build, and the faster you can achieve your goals. When you focus, you don't just improve your performance, you elevate your mindset. You begin to understand that success doesn't happen by chance. It happens through deliberate, focused effort. The more you concentrate on your goals, the more your mindset shifts from one of uncertainty or doubt to one of confidence and clarity. You see the progress you're making, and that reinforces your belief in your own abilities. Focus allows you to overcome the doubts and distractions that can derail your efforts. When you commit to focusing, you commit to success. Mastery, as it turns out, is not the result of inherent talent or intelligence. It is the result of relentless focus. The great achievements of human history, the breakthroughs in science, the works of art that have stood the test of time, none of them came from fleeting moments of attention. They came from years of sustained, concentrated effort. Focus is what allows you to take raw talent and turn it into skill. It is what turns knowledge into wisdom. It is what separates those who start from those who finish, those who dream from those who do. The challenge, then, is to cultivate the ability to focus. This is not something that happens overnight. It requires discipline, practice, and an unwavering commitment to your goals. It requires eliminating the distractions that dilute your energy and your attention. And it requires a willingness to stay the course, even when the road ahead is unclear or difficult. Focus is the act of putting your energy into what truly matters and refusing to let anything or anyone pull you off course. It is the bedrock upon which all achievement is built. Action is the bridge between intention and achievement. It is easy to get caught up in thinking, planning, and discussing ideas, but without action, nothing meaningful gets accomplished. Action is where the rubber meets the road. It is where dreams are transformed into reality and where potential is realized. Many people spend their time overanalyzing, second-guessing, and waiting for the perfect moment to begin, but that moment never arrives. Waiting for ideal conditions or perfect clarity can paralyze you, leaving you stuck in an endless loop of overthinking. Progress only happens when you take that first step, when you decide to move forward in spite of uncertainty, doubt, or imperfection. The key to understanding action is realizing that it doesn't require perfection to start. The conditions will never be perfect, the timing will never be flawless, and there will always be risks involved. The act of doing, of stepping out and making an effort, creates the momentum you need to improve, adjust, and course correct as you go. Many people spend their lives thinking about what they could do or what they should do, but those who succeed are the ones who act, even when they don't feel ready. Action is also a learning process. You won't know everything at the start, and that's okay. The most important lessons are often learned in the process of doing. When you start something, you don't have all the answers, but as you take action, you begin to learn, adapt, and grow. Adapt and grow. Mistakes and failures are inevitable, but they are also necessary. Each misstep provides valuable feedback that helps you refine your approach, adjust your strategy, and get closer to success. The more you act, the more you learn about your strengths, weaknesses, and what works for you. Each action you take provides data, and that data leads to refinement and improvement. In contrast, when you spend too much time thinking, you get stuck in the realm of theory. Theoretical thinking doesn't move you forward. It's comfortable, but it's also an illusion of progress. You might feel like you're making headway because your mind is busy, but real progress happens only when you get out of your head and put your thoughts into practice. Inaction may feel safer, but it also keeps you from growing, from testing your ideas, and from finding out what works. Action gives you the experience and knowledge that thinking alone can never provide. Taking action also builds momentum. Momentum is a powerful force. Once you start moving, it becomes easier to keep moving. The initial steps are always the hardest because they require overcoming inertia, that mental resistance to starting something new. But once you've taken that first step, the next one is easier, and the next one after that, even easier still. When you consistently take action, you begin to build positive momentum. This momentum can carry you forward even when obstacles arise. The more you act, the more you push yourself towards success, and the less likely you are to be stopped by setbacks or failures. Momentum helps you break through resistance and keep moving toward your goals. Procrastination, on the other hand, is a dream killer. It keeps you in a perpetual state of anticipation, but never allows you to move forward. Procrastination is often fueled by fear. Fear of failure, fear of making mistakes, fear of the unknown. But the longer you delay action, the bigger that fear grows. The more you put something off, the harder it becomes to start. This is because the fear of taking action is amplified by the uncertainty that builds over time. The longer you wait, the more you overthink the situation, and the more daunting it seems. But if you simply begin, if you take that first step, you start to dismantle the fear. As you move forward, you begin to see that the fear wasn't as powerful as you thought. One of the greatest strengths of action is its ability to transform abstract ideas into concrete results. You can think and talk about a goal endlessly, but until you begin to act on it, it remains nothing more than a thought. It is action that gives your goals form and substance. The process of doing creates real outcomes. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your desired result. Each action compounds and builds upon the last, until you look back and realize how far you've come. The act of doing makes progress tangible. It turns what was once a mere idea into a series of steps that lead to the finish line. In the end, action is what turns vision into reality. It's not enough to have a great idea or a vision of what you want to accomplish. Vision needs execution. Action is the driving force that propels you toward your goals. The world is full of people who have amazing ideas, but the difference between success and failure is the willingness to act. When you take action, you not only move closer to your goals, but you also grow in confidence, strength, and resilience. Taking action allows you to test your ideas, adjust your approach, and learn what works. It's through doing that you develop the skills and knowledge necessary to succeed. Inaction, on the other hand, keeps you stagnant. Action is the force that propels you forward, the tool that turns your dreams into a living, breathing reality. Discipline of the mind is one of the most powerful tools you can develop. The mind, much like the body, requires training and control to achieve its full potential. We live in a world full of distractions, temptations, and outside influences that constantly pull our attention in different directions. Africa. Our thoughts, too, are often scattered, jumping from one thing to the next, rarely fixed on a single purpose. This lack of control can result in inefficiency, wasted energy, and a lack of direction. Mastering the discipline of the mind is essential for achieving focus, clarity, and purpose in everything you do. It is what separates those who succeed from those who fail, those who overcome challenges from those who give up. The mind is incredibly powerful, but it can also be incredibly unruly. Without discipline, the mind becomes a wild horse, galloping in all directions, uncontrolled and chaotic. A disciplined mind, however, is like a well-trained horse that follows the direction you set for it. It is focused, clear, and aligned with your intentions. To control the mind, you must first become aware of its tendencies. Most people go through life without even realizing how often their attention shifts, how quickly they lose focus, or how much time they waste on things that don't serve their goals. It's not that they lack potential, it's that they lack control. The first step to discipline is recognizing where your attention is going and becoming intentional about where you direct it. Mind discipline starts with controlling your thoughts. The human mind is constantly producing thoughts, some of which are helpful, others that are not. The key is not to try to stop thinking entirely. This is impossible, but to decide which thoughts you will focus on and which ones you will allow to pass by. Negative, self-defeating thoughts can derail progress if they are allowed to dominate your thinking. These thoughts are like weeds in a garden, choking out the more productive thoughts that lead to success. To cultivate a disciplined mind, you must learn to recognize these weeds and pull them out before they take root. This requires awareness and effort. When negative thoughts arise, you must consciously choose not to give them your attention. This takes practice, but over time it becomes easier to redirect your focus toward more productive and positive thoughts. Control over the mind also means resisting impulses. Every day we face countless temptations that seek to divert our attention. Whether it's checking your phone when you should be working, engaging in idle gossip, or giving into procrastination, these small distractions add up over time. The more you give in to these impulses, the harder it becomes to resist them in the future. It's like building a muscle. Each time you give in to a distraction, you weaken your ability to control your mind. But every time you resist an impulse, you strengthen your self-discipline. Eventually, you create a habit of focusing on what matters and ignoring what doesn't. The discipline to stay on task, to say no to distractions, and to prioritize your goals above all else is what separates high achievers from those who merely drift through life. Another important aspect of mental discipline is emotional control. Emotions, while important, can be powerful distractions if they are not managed properly. When you allow your emotions to dictate your actions, you lose the ability to make rational, clear decisions. Discipline of the mind means having the ability to control your emotions rather than letting them control you. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions, but rather being able to observe them without being swept away by them. For example, when faced with stress or frustration, a disciplined mind takes a step back, assesses the situation logically, and then responds accordingly. It doesn't react impulsively or allow emotions to dictate the next move. It's this ability to stay calm under pressure, to make clear decisions even when emotions are high, that allows you to maintain focus and stay on course toward your goals. Self-discipline also requires the ability to stick with a task even when it becomes difficult. And the mind will always try to find the easy way out to avoid discomfort, to procrastinate or give up when things get tough. But true mental discipline is the ability to push through the discomfort, to stay committed even when the road is challenging. It's about setting a course and staying on it even when the journey feels long and difficult. This requires patience, persistence, and a strong sense of purpose. A disciplined mind understands that setbacks are part of the process, that failure is temporary, and that the only way to achieve success is to keep moving forward no matter how difficult it may seem in the moment. Discipline of the mind also involves developing mental resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, to face challenges with strength and determination. Life will inevitably throw obstacles in your way. There will be times when things don't go as planned, when you experience failure, disappointment, or loss. A disciplined mind doesn't let these setbacks break it. Instead, it learns from them, adapts, and moves forward with even greater determination. Mental resilience is what allows you to stay focused on your goals, even when the road ahead is filled with obstacles. It's what enables you to turn adversity into opportunity and to continue progressing towards success, no matter what challenges arise. The discipline of the mind is not something that happens overnight. It is a practice, a habit that you must cultivate over time. But with consistent effort, it becomes second nature. As you gain control over your thoughts, your impulses, your emotions, and your actions, you begin to see the world in a new way. You stop being a passive observer of your own life and become an active participant, fully in control of your decisions and direction. When you master the discipline of the mind, you unlock the ability to achieve anything you set your sights on. The power to create the life you desire lies within you, but it requires discipline, focus, and control. Patience is one of the most underestimated virtues in a world that thrives on instant gratification and fast results. Everywhere you look, people are seeking quick fixes, shortcuts, and immediate outcomes. In a culture dominated by social media, where every moment is shared and judged, it seems that success should come quickly, easily, and without delay. The pressure to achieve instant results can be overwhelming, and it can easily lead to impatience. However, the truth is that real success, the kind that lasts and truly transforms lives, requires patience. It's a slow process, a deliberate one that cannot be rushed. Patience is not just about waiting, it's about how you wait. It's about maintaining your focus and determination, even when the results aren't immediately visible. It's about having the inner strength to endure the periods of uncertainty, frustration, and difficulty that come with any meaningful pursuit. When you embark on a new endeavor, whether it's building a business, mastering a skill, or changing your life, you often start with enthusiasm and excitement. However, as time goes on, obstacles appear, progress slows, and the initial excitement fades. This is when patience becomes vital. Those who have the ability to wait, to endure the process, are the ones who ultimately succeed. It teaches you that growth is often invisible in the moment. You can work tirelessly, putting in the hours and effort, and yet see very little outward result. But if you can endure, if you can continue pushing forward, the fruits of your labor will come. It's like planting a seed in the ground and waiting for it to sprout. At first, nothing happens. The soil seems empty, and you might wonder if anything is even happening beneath the surface. But over time, the seed grows roots, and eventually it breaks through the soil, transforming into something greater. In many ways, our efforts are similar. We may not see immediate results, but our efforts are building the foundation for something much bigger. Patience is also deeply connected to the ability to persevere through failure. No success story is without setbacks, and the road to achievement is often paved with mistakes, disappointments, and failures. It's easy to become discouraged by failure, especially when it feels like all your hard work is for nothing. But those who succeed understand that failure is not the end. It's a part of the journey. Every setback, every challenge is a learning opportunity. Patience allows you to view failure not as a defeat, but as a necessary step in the process. It's through persistence and the patience to keep going, even after failure, that real growth happens. Success is rarely immediate, and it often requires trying, failing, and trying again. Those who persist in the face of failure are the ones who achieve greatness. Patience also teaches us the value of delayed gratification. In a society that prioritizes instant results, it's easy to fall into the trap of wanting everything now. But true success requires the ability to delay gratification, to resist the urge for immediate rewards in favor of long-term fulfillment. It's about understanding that the best things in life take time, and that the pursuit of something meaningful is worth the wait. Patience is the skill that allows you to continue working toward a long-term goal, even when the rewards are not immediately apparent. It helps you keep your eyes on the bigger picture and resist the temptation to take shortcuts that may provide temporary satisfaction, but lead to long-term disappointment. Furthermore, patience is an essential component of self-discipline. It's easy to start something with enthusiasm, but the real test comes when the initial excitement fades and the work becomes harder. This is where patience and self-discipline intersect. The ability to stay committed to your goals, even when things are difficult, or when the results are slow to come, requires both patience and discipline. It's about understanding that the journey is just as important as the destination, and that the process itself is where growth occurs. Without patience, it's easy to give up before you've had the chance to fully develop your skills or see the fruits of your labor. Another important aspect of patience is its ability to foster resilience. Life is unpredictable, and obstacles will always arise. Patience allows you to weather the storms, to stay calm and composed in the face of adversity. When things don't go as planned, when you face setbacks or delays, patience enables you to handle the situation with grace and fortitude. It helps you accept that things may not always go according to your timeline, but that doesn't mean they won't eventually work out. Patience is the foundation of emotional strength and perseverance, helping you navigate challenges without losing hope or giving up. Ultimately, patience is not just a virtue. It's a mindset. It's a way of approaching life with calmness, understanding, and a willingness to trust the process. It's about recognizing that good things take time and that success is the result of consistent, focused effort over a long period. When you cultivate patience, you shift your perspective. You begin to see setbacks as temporary and obstacles as opportunities for growth. You learn to trust in your ability to endure, to keep going even when the path seems unclear or difficult. Patience allows you to appreciate the journey, to stay grounded in the present moment, and to embrace the process of becoming the person you are meant to be. The ability to be patient is what allows you to keep moving forward, even when the results are not immediately visible. And it is what ultimately leads to lasting success.